one of the measure target to describe the motion. But how we can describe the motion? Actually, we can describe the motion by describe the distance that the object can cover at the time that cover through. So we can describe the motion and its speed by two factors, the distance and the time. And in this case, we can get the law that describes the speed by using the distance and the time. So the speed can be measured, or can we calculate the speed by the distance over the time. So one more time, the law can used to describe and calculate the speed. We have the distance that divided by the time. We can define the speed over here by it's the distance that moved through a unit of time. So when we calculate the distance and calculate the time, we can get the speed or the speed of an object. Another definition for the speed we have, it's the change of the distance rate. So the value of the distance changing, it's considered as or can describe the speed. After that, we have the measuring unit. The measuring unit for the speed as any physical quantity, we have the meter per second or kilometer per hour. How we can get the meter per second? Simply we have the law of the speed by using the distance, and the unit for the distance is meter or kilometer, of course. One more time, the distance unit is meter or kilometer, and the unit for the time second or hour. So when we start the measuring unit of the speed by using the distance meter or the unit of distance by meter, so we have to use the second for the unit for the time. So the time unit is second when the unit of the distance is meter. And when we use the kilometer for the distance, so we have to use the hour for the time. So what is the units of the speed? Meter per second or kilometer per hour. And so on. We have some important questions in this part. For example, we have what is meant by. When he asks about what is meant by, we have to save this part. What is meant by, answered by, this mean that. This means that. So, what is meant by the train cover a distance 240 kilometers in 2 hours? So, he used the kilometer and hours. The kilometer for the distance and the hours for the time. So when we have distance and when we have the time, so we can get the speed. How? The speed equals distance divide the time. So 240 divide the 2 for the hour, 120 kilometers per hour. So in order to get the answer for what is meant by, this means that when the train cover the distance 240 in 2 hours, so this train move with the speed equals 120 kilometers per hour. Another question, we have the speed of a car equals 0. When the speed of any object equals 0, of course, when the object at a rest or when the object doesn't move in static state, car or any object, its speed equals 0. Okay, then how we can calculate and measure the speed? Simply, inside the cars and aeroplanes, we can see the speedometer inside the cars or aeroplanes can identifying the speed and can measure its speed.